Hello everybody, Naughty Nana does. How's everybody doing today? Don't even know my own name, so how do you think I'm doing? Anyway, shouldn't really say how you doing because I think I know how most of us are doing on the anniversary of 9/11. I just want to take a little minute to talk about all the brave souls that day that rushed in to that building while it was burning and trying to get people down those stairwells in the North Tower and the South Tower. Everybody watching this will remember what they were doing on that day. I was watching, I think it was the Canadian morning news show. My kids had just got on the school bus, went to school. We had just moved to the town we're living in now. And my kids were going to a new school. They were 14 and 15. So, yeah. It was a normal morning until I walked in the living room after getting my cup of tea. I think probably a coffee back then. But getting a cuppa, walking in the living room, and I stood frozen looking at the TV as that airplane crashed into the North Tower. And I seen all the people running. I seen people in the windows. And then I seen all the brave firefighters, police officers. And then there was all the hospital workers, all the doctors, nurses, all of those people, EMS people, all racing to that scene to see what they could do to help. I remember it like it was yesterday. 24 years has passed. On that day, the world came together. We all stood in stunned silence. Air traffic was grounded. Most of the planes coming from overseas, if they hadn't taken off, were not allowed to. We had many aircraft land in Gander, Newfoundland and in Nova Scotia, and they were taken in like they were long lost family. And they stayed for a few days. People took them into their homes. They were put up and they were loved. And there's still connections with those families that took those 911, call them victims if you like, but passengers on those planes. They took care of them until the skies were safe for them to fly home. That's what we do with one another. We stick together, we stand by our friends, and we give them a hug. We give them a shoulder to cry on and a seat at the table when they need one. That's what friends do. But yesterday that'll live on too, unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, because people need to remember what happened yesterday. There was another mass shooting at a school in Evergreen, Colorado, about 40 miles from Denver. One person dead, one in critical care, one in stable condition. The one that passed was the shooter by his own hand. So we had that, and at the same time, I want to give my heartfelt condolences to the families of all those parents that rushed to that school for yet another mass shooting. Wondering if it was their kid. It's got to be terrifying. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine what that would be like. So, there's that. Then we have the incident at another school, Utah Valley University. There's a young fella there, 31 years old, holding another, I'm going to call it a rally for lack of a better description of that. And him, it's funny, one of his last conversations was, he has these things, prove me wrong. And somebody was asking him about mass shootings and how many there were in the United States. And the fellow that was, I'm going to call it assassinated because that's what it was, has been very vocal about his hate of trans people and the LGBTQ community. So they asked him, how many trans mass shooters have there been? He picked up the mic and he said, too many, and he put the mic down. So it's funny that they were talking about shootings just before another one occurred. He was disparaging towards women, in my opinion. He thought that the only reason why women needed a university degree was to find a smart husband and get a Mrs. degree. Totally devalues her. Another statement he put out was, it's worth it for a few people to die, and I'm don't know the exact phrases he used, so I'm using my own here, but you'll get the drift. It's worth it for a few people to die at the hands of gun violence as long as we keep our Second Amendment right. I wonder if he still feels that way on the other side. Now, no matter what he said, how hateful, how horrible, and how disparaging he was against anybody else that wasn't MAGA, for lack of a better term of phrase, that man did not deserve to die. He did not deserve to die for his words. He didn't. And now, his wife and his two beautiful babies, I think they're 1 and 3 years old, something like that. They knew nothing about their dad's politics. They didn't understand what his dad was saying. All they know now is they have no dad. They knew about their dad as the guy that played games with them, took them on adventures, tucked them in at night, and now they don't have that. And that's not right. I don't care who you are. Nobody deserves to die for their words, but the right are always saying it. MAGA's always screaming from the rooftops, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. But I have learned since that incident yesterday when that young man moved on to another realm, I learned since then that free speech only works for them. Because one of theirs was assassinated. Now, even the President of the United States is saying there's going to be a big crackdown on those leftists. There's going to be hell to pay. Some lawmakers are saying that on the right that the Democrats should be a terrorist organization and cease to exist. That's the kind of rhetoric that they're spreading. Nobody in power, in legislature and stuff that I heard from Democrats, not one person said anything disparaging about what happened yesterday. They all said may not agree with him, but that man did not deserve to die, and this political violence has got to stop. It has got to stop. There's no end to it. They said the same thing when POTUS I'm going to be polite today, wore the panty liner on his ear. Nobody thought that was cool, that he, there was an attempt on his life. That's political violence. Nobody thought that was cool. In the same token, when Senator and Speaker of the House Emerita, I think it was Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark and their dog Gilbert were assassinated by a Republican, and John Hortman and his wife Yvette were shot, all Trump said was, I feel sorry for the people of Minnesota, and he moved on like he was putting salt on his french fries. This young fella has now going to be a martyr. They have, POTUS has ordered the flags to be at half staff at all the federal buildings, and he is going to be awarded Medal of Freedom posthumously. Making him a martyr. Because now they have another cause they can stand up for, and they have something to put down Democrats with. When Democrats were there cheering them on. A good thing that happened was the Democrat, one of the universities, I think it was Maryland, don't quote me, but one of the universities, young Democrats and young Republicans on this one campus both got together and they issued a joint statement about how wrong political violence is. That's a joint statement. This is the up and coming folks that we have that are getting into politics. We need more of that. We need more of that. We need a president, or you need a president, that will call for calm, and if anybody commits violence due to this incident, and it should be labeled a hate crime. That's what the President of the United States should be doing. He should be calling for calm, stop this crap. But no, he's going to do crackdowns now in more blue cities. Others have said we have now declared war on Democrats. Krasensteins, two twin brothers, have a podcast. They write a Substack. These guys are very informative. They are not Republicans, they are Democrats, and they point things out. The two of them and their families have been threatened. They posted the threats online, and they are vile and disgusting. Another one was posted about young Harry Sisson. He's 23, 24 years old? Has his own channel. Some of the death threats he got against him and his whole family are vile. I got a couple comments on my video yesterday that I had to take down because I don't want that stuff on my channel. I don't. You don't agree with them. A lot of people said they don't agree with them. But what we all agree on is that those two babies don't deserve to go through their lives without their daddy. His wife shouldn't have to go through this minus a husband. She just doesn't. I mean, how much more are people supposed to take? But MAGA is turning it all on Democrats. And Paulina Luna, whatever the hell her name is, she's got about 6 different names and she uses different ones all the time. She has come right out and said Democrats are the blame for that young man's death. I think we should all take a page from those young Democrats and Republicans in Maryland, because I think that's where it was, and come together to deny and put down this violence and the rhetoric. Because now they think they have ammunition to start whatever they describe as a war. It's horrible. And because of stuff like this, there was an incident in just outside of Toronto, Canada yesterday where a car rammed through the glass at a daycare. There was 10 people injured, 7 of them were babies, well, little kids. An 18-month-old and another child from the daycare were both in critical condition. The 18-month-old passed away from his injuries last night, and the other one is still in critical condition. There was a few adults there, 7 children, 3 adults. Some of the kids are still in hospital without life-threatening injuries, but still pretty hurt. And apparently it was an older man, his late 70s, I believe. His car rammed in, and it's when the first thing the police have to say is this was not a terrorist attack. It's an old man, and we don't know how it happened, but he's arrested with a vehicle accident causing death. He was in court this morning, and we don't know if he had a stroke, a heart attack, whatever. But we'll see how that plays out. But it wasn't a terrorist attack, but a lot of people jumped to that conclusion anyway. Is that what our society has come to? I don't know, man. But anyway, I still have those thoughts of those firefighters and the ladder companies whizzing up the street to the Twin Towers. And my heart sunk a bit that day. And it does every time the anniversary rolls around and I'm not even living in the States. I'm an old Canadian girl. But terror is terror. And when United States of America is tattooed to Canada's ass, we worry about you. We really do. We worry about you. We worry about you, especially in these times with all this violent rhetoric against one political party because they don't agree with you. And when you have a civilly liable sexual assaulter that is running the country and a 34 times felon and another 17 count guilty of fraud, I guess anything's possible, right? But I want you to go through your day with a good thought for those children, because we need the little ones. They're coming up behind us, man. We need the little ones to look back and say we never want to go through that again. The same as our parents did after World War II, after I did after Vietnam, Iraq, Iran, Kosovo, Bosnia. It's always never again. But we got to start using more solutions with our minds and our hearts and not just lipping off with this. We have to think before we speak. And that's why this is the second time I'm doing this video. So, all the Harry Sissons and the Midas Touch people, Krasenstein brothers, Jim Acosta, Rachel Maddow, all those people are now going to be getting death threats. I've gotten a few in the past, but nothing what they're going through now. So have a good thought for those people and their families, because they're all going to suffer through this together. Naughty Nana loves you. It looks like after yesterday, we have reached a new turning point. Naughty Nana loves you. Be good, be safe, and please take care of you first. Need a little more taken care of today. But yeah, I love you all. Love me, like me, share me, and subscribe to my channel, please. Vivi, inside gate treat. Let's go. Up a daisy, 1, 2, 3. All right, bye-bye, folks.